Yep.
Game on! Welcome to the earliest ever episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 29-year-old from the Hill, Denmark? Maybe?
Yeah, from Boyens.
Why does it say the Hill? Anyways, he's 29, but is in his 14th season of professional hockey. Came up as a puppy in the Voyance minor hockey program, other known as Sunderyuski, where he made his pro debut back in 2011-12 and was probably still in diapers. The same year played for Team Denmark in the under 16s and ran amok, putting up 8 points in 7 games played and led Team Denmark in scoring. He also played for Team Denmark in the under 18s, under 20s, and in 21-22 made his debut for the men's Danish national team and scored his first goal with the men's squad. He is a legend of Sunderyuski, playing 12 seasons where he became a Danish Cup champion, a 3-time Danish champion, once with yours truly, and a Continental Cup champion. He is now with the Blue Foxes of Herning, who own the Twix throwing chocolate record in the world. And he just won another Danish Cup or Pokal championship. Welcome on, Martin Eskildsen.
Thanks, Wally. Thanks.
It's been a while, dude. How the hell are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Living in Herning now. I have a kid now,
I
so
saw that. I
a
saw
lot
you.
a lot has changed.
Yeah, you're not like in high school anymore.
No, exactly. Well, back then I don't even think I was in high school yet. I was only in like 10th grade when I was playing with you.
I know. You were young. You were like really young, but you were like way taller than me already.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Actually, it's weird when like you lock down someone you used to play with, and then all of a sudden the memories start flooding back. As when I played in Sunderyuski and we won the championship, and then they didn't want me back like 2 days later. Well, I didn't really feel that strongly about Sunderyuski anymore, and I never watched any of the videos of us winning any championships for a lot of years. But now I'm over all that, and I'm happy that they didn't want me back because then I got to go to Cardiff, Wales, and a lot of cool stuff happened going there. But um, watching that video of us winning the championship that year, winning really is fun, isn't it?
Well, it is fun. Like the kind of the sad thing about it was I only get to like witness it on video, and I showed up 2 days later because I was at the World Junior Under 18 Championships. So I was literally sitting with the Under 18 team in Finland, watching the game, and then I think the next day we were flying out of there. So I showed up late, and you like when I showed up, you guys were already drunk, like at 11 in the
Mm,
morning or something.
well, they give you gold helmets
Yeah,
to
exactly.
to protect yourself. Yeah, just once it gets late, you got to make sure your chin strap's done up, right?
Yeah.
I was interesting. I was trying to figure out where you were because I looked at the team photo and it, first time I won with my son alive, and he was in the team photo with the gold helmets, and that's a memory for life. But I was looking for you. I'm like, where the hell is Eski? And there is one guy in the photo that I have where you just see the gold helmet. It's behind like Lukey. And you can just see a helmet behind him, but you can't see the guy's face. And
Yeah.
I'm like, do you think that's Eski behind him?
I
But
I
you
I
weren't there.
remember. No, I wasn't there for the day and the day after, but I showed up 2 days after for we were doing some kind of
2 days
was it?
after, were we still hot then?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I because I was flying out of Finland the day after, and I showed up 2 days after when we were doing that sponsor dinner or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah. I remember going, we had to go meet the mayor.
Yeah, exactly.
That was tiring stuff. Good thing we had helmets on.
Yeah. Oh, I have good memories about it. It was a
Well,
lot of
so
fun.
it says you're from Vejle in English or Vejle in Danish. So that's Voyance. You're from Voyens.
I was born. It's 45 minutes north of Voyens. Remember Vejle? It's like a slightly bigger town than Kolding. And my parents moved to Voyens when I was like half a year old or something.
Oh,
And
okay. So you've always been from there.
yeah, I've always been from there. I started playing hockey in Voyens when I was 3 years old or something.
Yeah, because it says I'm from, on Dyer, it says I'm from like the city, Georgetown. I'm not from there.
Yeah, exactly.
I
I
moved
am
to
from
Elmira
Voyens.
when I was 1 year old, and grew up in Elmira. So yeah, you're a Voyance boy. I always found it interesting, that town. There's only like 3 roundabouts, and there's nothing
Yeah.
else. But then they
No.
have like a mini NHL arena.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, the like the old rink, like you wouldn't have played in that, and I didn't even play in that, but I
No, but
remember
we would
coming there
practice
as
in
a
it.
kid. I remember like watching games in the old rink when I was a kid. Like it would have like instead of the glass around, it would have like cage,
Right.
and
Chicken
it
chicken
was
wire.
yeah chicken wire exactly. It would be so loud in there. I think it fit like 2,300 people, but in the finals in 2009 or something, like there was at least like 3,000 people.
Oh, it would have been loud in that tin can.
Yeah.
That's where they used to make us run and do sit-ups and stuff when I first got there. Dan
Yeah.
Seaman, remember Dan?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I've had a
And
couple good chats with him on here.
yeah, I've seen he's been on the show. He's like he was it Straub being the assistant?
Yeah, Chris Straub. I used to play
Yeah.
against him in the Zweite Bundesliga in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had played like our whole careers against each other, and then all of a sudden he was my coach in Denmark.
Yeah.
Um, Fun fact though, that season you scored your first professional goal.
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, I remember it. I was playing on a line with Lundy
Mads
and
Lund. He's good.
yeah, and Fussy, I think. And his
The
Forster.
Yeah, the new coach.
Yeah.
And well, he was just a young pup back when I was
Yeah.
there, and he was a great dude. And I
Yeah.
remember he was from the Copenhagen area, and we had to go get Colby's passport, and we shacked right up with his parents, and he told us, he's like, well, you guys don't need to pay for a hotel because you got to go get a passport in Copenhagen. He's like, that's where I'm from. You can stay with my parents. And then we stayed with his parents, hung out, got to know them, got the passport done, and never had to pay for a hotel. And I'm like, oh, so it's like, oh, Sunderuski has like a good dude that's coach again, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He just went on some kind of sick leave right now, so the other guy's taking over, but he's been the coach for the last like year or so.
He took a sick leave. He's not
Yeah,
coaching right now or something.
he has some stress symptoms or something. I don't know what it is, but like he's been like he stepped over for like stepped in for Mario Simeone last year and won the championship. So
Didn't he win both trophies? He won the
he
Pokal
won
and
both
league.
trophies, yeah, in his first season.
First season as coaching, eh? And he wins both trophies.
Wins both trophies.
I still remember him. Well, I don't know if you'd call it getting mad at me, but he said, I remember you go to that thing at the start of the year, or that part,
Good.
Hootie.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying to me, he was like, you need to like take care of the kids around here. He's like, that's what the imports need to do. They got to like take care of the kids. And he's like, you have to stay on the ice and like help me. You have to help me get better, like every practice. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm here to help any chance I can. I'm like, but I don't usually stay on the ice after practice. I'm like, I'll hang out with you all you want, but like, I usually once
Yeah,
practice
I
is over, I
remember like
get off.
it kind of changed when Dan took over that year. Like he wanted like some of the older guys and some of the imports to like stay on and teach like young
Yeah.
guys like me a little like thing or
Well,
two.
I have no problem with that, but it's like when I'm tired, I want to get off, and I'm like,
Yeah.
let's just teach you how to hockey off the ice too.
Yeah, especially at the beginning of the year. You were there to get in better shape, right?
Hey, I was in shape that year. I was all jacked up. I think the kids call it yoked. I
Yeah,
that
exactly.
was when I was done in Germany, and I was pissed off, and I got like a real trainer that summer, and he made me get skinny. If it's
Oh,
possible for me to get skinny, I was as skinny as I can be.
yeah, exactly. You just built that way.
But it's weird, right? Like hockey comes to an end, and I wasn't that proud of everything I'd done, but I find it really neat that I can wear a Team Denmark shirt these days because that season, my two line mates played their first games on Team Denmark. And Thomas Spelling, playing for the first time for the men's team, gave me two of his Team Denmark shirts, and now I can wear them like I'm on the team, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you were playing on a great line that year as well, eh?
That year, well, most of the first half was me, Quirky, and Frankie, and
Yeah,
Frankie made his Team Denmark debut that year too when
yeah,
we
that's
were
right.
running amok. And then the end of the year, I was with Spelling, and man, that's Spelling can play.
He's
He's
a
a
different kind of animal.
he is. He's good looking. He can shoot the puck harder than you. He can skate faster than you. You know, it's
Yeah, he
tough.
can pass the puck well.
Yeah, he's still playing too, eh?
Yeah,
Mm.
he's in Frederickstown now.
Yeah, it's weird when people aren't on the same teams, but I never really looked. So you were with the Baby Blue or Sunderyuski for what, like 12 years? So why did you switch to the Herning Blue Foxes?
Well, I had my debut as only like 15 years old. So as you said, like I was still in diaper,
You
and
were 15 years old playing pro
I was
with
15 when I
with
played my first game.
professionals like myself.
I was a big guy. Like I had some like size, and I knew how to use it. I was good at protecting the puck, and
You were a
I don't know how.
big
Like it was
bitch.
actually after it in 2011 after the Hytte party. Uh, Sønderjyske got an injury on like a forward spot, and they wanted to call one of the other guys, but apparently the other guy was just still drunk from the Hytte party. So
Mm,
so they had to call me,
yeah.
and and I was only 15, so really excited. I showed up at the rink like 3 hours before the game started, and Mario Simeone always showed up early as well. So he came into the room and he just looked at me. He didn't even say hi, and he was like, "If you wanna get on the ice tonight, you better come down here and kiss my shoes." And
Is that what he said?
that's what he said. Like I was only 15 years old, but like
Did you kiss his
I, I've
shoes?
I've gotten to know him like a lot after, and I like today I know he was just joking around. He wanted to see my reaction, but
But at
I didn't
15, you
understand
weren't
it at
sure.
all. Yeah.
I remember that guy. I won't forget his name because he wasn't the coach the year I was there. He had just been done, but he was still around town. And
Yeah.
and I had my season there, and I thought I did pretty good. I think I was second in the league in scoring, and we won the championship. And then 2 days later, the team told me they didn't want me back, and I was like, "Oh, cool." And I was so mad. I didn't ask for nothing from nobody. Never talked to any of them again. And then it was the middle of summer, and Dan Seema calls me, and he's like, "So like nobody's called about you. Like no teams have asked about you." He's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "I told you I'd give you a good reference." But during that summer when I was back in Canada, and you know, I I don't want help from people that didn't help me. So I was like, I, I, I never talked to them. But Mario Simeone, who was in Voyance that year but not coaching and watched the season, he reached out to me that summer and was like, "You're a great player. I'll help you any way you want." And he's like, "I'll tell any team about how you played this year and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Man, I don't even know you and you're willing to help me out." And I'm like, "I'll take your help over
Yeah.
them."
Yeah.
uh,
You're not in a good place right after that, I assume. Like you had a great year. Like what how many points did you guys put up?
I don't know. I
You
know
put out like
Alex Levitt was the only guy that scored more points than me, and he did that everywhere we played. God, it pissed me off. Everywhere I went, everywhere we went, he would show up and then lead the league in scoring. I'm like, dude, come on. I would have been at first if you weren't here.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I had I like Colby was little, and I had been in Germany for 6 years, and then you go to Denmark and you're like, okay, I've proven I'm back. I'm second league in scoring, we win the championship. I'm like, yeah. And then the team doesn't want you back, and you got a young kid, and you're like, so I just moved here and did all this, and now I gotta leave again and find a new team again, and I got like a young kid, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so angry right now.
Yeah.
Oh, but whatever, it led me to Cardiff, which well, I guess it's changed my life. Yeah, it's probably why we're chatting today. They had me
Yeah,
5 years later, they had me back for a Wally night, and then it made me remember that like I like being the hockey guy more than
that probably wouldn't have never happened if you if they didn't like if they signed you again, eh?
no, it wouldn't have happened. And well, if I'm being honest, we won the championship that year, and it was fun. But like winning the championship was fun. I don't find like that year was the most fun I had playing hockey. I don't think there was much to do in Voyance.
No.
Um, not at all. Not as an import when if you fart, the whole town smells it,
Yeah.
But then going to Cardiff and playing with a bunch of guys that we just like we had fun, and then we won again the next year, and I was like, haha. But then you know, what pissed me off is I always, as a player, wanted to be in a video game. That was like one of my goals as a player, and I never got to do it. But we win the championship that year. Then you guys go to the Champions Hockey League, and
Yeah.
then you guys are like in video games, and I'm like, so we win the championship, you don't ask me back, and now you guys are in video games and I'm not. What a joke. But
Yeah.
a fun fact is I've played with you in like NHL, what would it be, like 23? It was the Cardiff Devils versus Sunderjyski, and my last two teams were in the NHL video game, and I'm playing with all my friends, and you were on there, man, and I was playing with you, and I'm telling my son, I'm like, dude, that's my old teammate. He just scored again. Have you ever played that game that you're in the NHL video game?
No,
Don't
actually
lie
not.
to
Like,
me. Are you kidding me?
I'm,
You're in a
I'm,
video
I'm,
game and
I'm
you've
not
never
even
played it?
joking. I'm not even joking. I don't play a lot of like when
Would
I
you
was a kid,
grow
I played a
down and
lot
play
of.
some video games then?
Well, I when I was a kid, I played a lot of NHL, but like the last like 10 years, I haven't really played like any of the newer NHL games. I've seen the like the lineups, that's for sure, but I haven't played them.
Well, it's weird because the dude like skates around and shoots the puck just like you. And I was like, wow, how do they make them skate and do everything just like they do in real life?
Well, I would assume I'm probably like a what a 52 overall or something.
I'm not sure. I didn't look at the stats, but you were scoring goals, and I thought it was neat that like well, I wouldn't play with you guys. I'd actually try and beat you guys because you didn't want me back. I'd play with the Cardiff Devils and just smash you.
Yeah.
But it's pretty neat when you can play a video game with a whole bunch of your friends, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. And both of my teams were on the video game, and Sunderjyski is still on the video game when I play with my son, you
Yeah,
know?
they were well because they won the championship last year. Like,
Because the Foz is their coach now.
yeah. Unfortunately, I wasn't in it then, eh?
I know. But you were with Herning last year, so Matt Kruth was your goalie. I guess he got hurt a
Yeah,
bit last year, eh?
yeah. He got hurt when we were in Cardiff. Uh,
Right,
we
for the
were we
Continental Cup.
yeah we were there to like we.
I had him on the podcast right before that, trying to give him a shed boost, and then he got hurt.
Yeah, we showed up and like I don't even remember. I think we showed up a bit late and we had to practice like 45 minutes after or something. And I don't know what happened, but I think he tore like a abdominal muscle or something.
That's why you don't get those things, because then you can tear
Yeah,
them, you know?
exactly, exactly.
So you're like all grown up now. You got a kid.
Yeah, yeah. She's
And
2.5 now.
I have a guy in Denmark that's a huge fan of hockey and what I do. And he sends me all the stuff that's going on in Denmark. And he sent me a photo of you and your daughter on the ice after you won.
Yeah,
Isn't that fun? Do you remember well, you weren't there, I guess, but I had my son on the ice after we won, and having your kid on the ice, it's neater than just being on the ice by yourself, isn't it?
that's definitely something special, and that's the first time I've been able to have my daughter on the ice when we've won something.
Right.
So that's definitely like something special, and
Mm-hmm.
also because she's like at an age now where she like kind of understands what's going on. So like she would spend some time around the trophy, and she thought that was a lot of fun.
Well, trophies are fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are. And I haven't looked at it all, but you were nice enough to send me some of the photos from when we won. But when you watch that video, my son and I'm holding the trophy in the air. Then like three photographers come up and start taking photos of me and him with the trophy. I've never seen that photo ever. You sent me one, but it's not the one where I'm holding the trophy. And you see them. There's like three
Yeah.
photographers all taking photos of us. And I'm like, well, where is that picture? Where did photographer guys, where did you go? Where is that photo? Because I've never seen it where it's me and my son with the trophy right after we won. Um, and I'm curious, like where those guys are and where that photo is. I know they would have taken a lot of photos that night, but it would
Well,
mean a lot.
I saw your post
Yeah,
asking for the photos, and I knew
you
like
gave me
one.
some good ones.
Yeah, I knew like one of the like women who was taking photos, so I just went to her Facebook profile, and she has a lot of photos in there. So I
That's
might
how
want
you
to go
found
in and
them?
have another look and see if I can find the one with the trophy, because
I'm curious where that is because you see them taking the photo, and I'm like, man, I would really like that photo.
yeah, but it was like it was kind of the same thing now that we won the trophy a couple of weeks ago. Like
You won again, and
when we
so
won the pokal, there like when you're out there, there's so many like photographers, and
there's a
when
lot of
you're
things
done, like
happening.
you never see any of those photos again. Like it's
No, there. What's weird for me is so I was coaching under 13 boys last year, and we won the championship. And there's a video of us. The kids are chucking their helmets and their gloves and celebrating. And there's a photographer, just like in Denmark, there's a photographer out on the ice taking pictures of them all coming together, celebrating. And I'm like, well, where are those photos?
yeah.
Where did you go? You took the pictures, but where are they? And it was the
But
same thing as when I
there's
played there. It's like people were taking all these photos. Well, where are they?
they keep him to himself. But there's a lot of people on the ice when you win. I don't know how it is like abroad, but and when you win in Denmark, like a lot of like different people come onto the ice. And when we won, like a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, uh, there was this one guy walking around on the ice being really, really fucking drunk, and
Mm.
we figured, okay, he knows somebody. Started taking photos of everyone, and we're taking this team photo with the trophy, and he's there standing with like one of our helmets and gloves on, taking photos of us.
And
And then
nobody knows who he
like
is.
no one knows who he is. And then like a couple days after, like our captain Morten Poulsen, he's missing his helmet at practice. So apparently this guy was just a fan from Hello, walking onto the ice, stealing our helmets and taking photos of us, and then leaving again.
Is that who you guys beat in the finals, Herlo?
Yeah, we beat Herlev in the final. Yeah.
Are they good now?
Yeah, they had a year. Like they were top four team for like 30 games or something. Then they had a kind of a dry spell after that final. So now they're down to seventh or eighth place or something. But it's really tight in that like
Is
between
do you
fifth
know
and
who their coaches are? Is Guillaume Doucette one of their coaches still?
no, I think he was last year. I think they have a Swedish guy now. I'm actually
Mm.
not sure.
I don't know what happened to Deuce, but I played with him in Cardiff. Great
Yeah.
guy. Yeah. Um, so you guys won the Pokal. Winning is fun, and it's a great trophy. I saw the pictures of it. But what was the score of that game? Is it was one game final?
Yeah, one game final. So the format is different from when you were here. Like back then it was like a like basic tournament where you would like knock out teams over. Was it two games or something? I don't even remember.
I I remember you played like a bunch of games, but like
Yeah,
the final that year was it was the same team we played in the finals of the regulars or the actual final was Herning.
yeah, exactly. It was against
And
Frederikshavn that year.
no,
Oh,
Herning.
Herning. Yeah,
But
we lost 5-0 that game.
we got smashed in the
Yeah,
finals of the
at home,
Pokal. Yeah,
at
and
home.
then we also had we lost the final of the Pokal, like got smashed 5-0. They celebrate on our ice. And we hosted the Continental Cup tournament. And well, we shot that down her leg too. And then
Yeah,
I remember going into the finals against Herning and Stocky came in, the GM, and said like, you guys know, like, you've had a good year, but you guys have failed in all the big games. Like, you guys have failed, and then, like, it's time to actually do something. And
Yeah.
then when we went to Game 7 against them, we hadn't beat them like all year, and then we were down 2-0 in the finals, and then we won 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
Then it went to Game 7, and man, thank goodness we won.
Yeah. I remember I like specifically remember that one like pokal final when we lost 5-0 at home.
Yeah, that
Like
was a tough day.
my grandparents are like they were living like an hour away or something, but they usually didn't like show up for games, but they showed up for that one.
Right. It was a big one.
Yeah.
And we didn't do that well.
But I'm playing with guys who won that final game, eh?
Yeah, well, and I find that like winning changes things, right? Like I did win in a couple places, and I find that it takes people further in their careers. They play longer is once they've shown that they can win. People play longer and do more things, and winning changes things, and thank goodness we won that Game 7, because if we would have blown all the big games that year, it wouldn't have been that much fun. But now, where is it? It's beside my red hat when I won with my son. My gold helmet's right behind me. I
Yeah.
have a gold helmet forever, just in case I need safety late at night.
Yeah, exactly.
But my buddy there in Denmark that sends me stuff, he said you did have I know you're a dad now and you're grown up and you don't celebrate that much when you win championships, but he said you did have a good night.
Well, I gotta say, like my girlfriend is really good at letting me loose
When you win a
whenever we win.
championship. Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's only certain nights, right, to let the old boys go, but when you win a trophy, it's usually go time.
Yeah, and it was a long night, and we I think we came home to Herning at like 1 o'clock or something, and like all the supporters were standing in the streets waiting for us, so we had a good night.
Oh man, people in North America wouldn't understand probably because they don't see it that much, or they don't understand what goes on over there. But when you win a trophy and you do it on the road and you get back, like those fans will stay up till whatever time to celebrate with you, right?
Yeah. Like I remember when we won in like the year after in 2015. Like the thing is when you win, like you get your helmets and you get your like your trophy. But then after that, like all the fans from the whole rink are just on the ice. So I remember like usually you'll have like a little meeting after games where you sing your song or whatever. And I think that meeting was like an hour or something after we got the trophy because nobody was able to get off the ice. It was just full of people.
Oh man, those are the best days of your hockey career. Like when you look back on what did I play, like 10 years? Like I don't really recall scoring goals. I remember winning trophies, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, it's
I don't
fun.
score as many goals as you do, but I
Oh,
definitely remember the
I
nights we win trophies.
whatever. Hey, at least they ask you back. But I did see there was a season. It was like 2021 or so. I think I have it written down here. My research team was so hot. 2021. You had 17 goals and 17 assists. I think that's right around when I was playing as you on the video game. And I'm like, holy moly, he's all grown up. He's like on the first line now, and you were just like you were like a kid.
Yeah, like 17, I was like, what was I, 20, 23, 20, 23 or something?
I think you were like when I played with you were like 17 years old.
I was 17 was that when I was playing with you, yeah.
Yeah. But not that year you scored 17 goals and 17 assists, and that was like your first year really putting up some numbers, eh?
Yeah, like it was a year where like from the beginning, coach was just putting me with top guys and
That helps, right? When a coach actually gives you an opportunity. Who was that? Simeone?
yeah, that was Simeone. So like, and then you get into a rhythm where whenever they go in, they just go in. They just keep coming. So I guess it was just one of those seasons where everything just works out for you. And then the year after, I started out with some top guys as well, and points didn't really come as fast. So I don't know. I think I've always been good at whenever I don't score goals and put up assists. I've always,
You've been
I
able to
always do
still
my
help.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you played the game hard even as a puppy. But so that year, would you have been like the net front guy on the power play?
Yeah, I was the net front guy on the power play, and I've basically done that ever since. But this year we've had a team full of great like skilled guys. So I haven't been much on the power play this year, but at least I've been winning a lot of games.
And that's all that matters, isn't it?
Like I've always said that I'd rather play on a team that's like be in contention to win a trophy than I would put up 800
And
points.
and some people in pro don't get that, and they want to be on the first line and they want to be on the power play or whatever. And they could be on a bad team, but as long as they get their points, they're fine. And it's like, well, that that's not really that much fun. Actually winning the game and being happy because you won is way better. And whether you're on the power play or you're not on the power play, winning games is way more fun than losing.
Like that's what I've always said, and like this year I'm on a team that's like really deep. So basically you like there's no chance you can play on a bad line on the team I'm playing on right now, and it was kind of the same thing my last couple of years in Sønderjyske.
Yeah, and depth wins championships. I'd find. And that year in Sunderuski, we were deep. Our top two lines were legit, but then our third line had, like you said, Mads Lund and Anders Forster. And it's like you have guys like that on your third line that are Danish dudes that muck it up and give her and can play against the other team's top lines. It's like, so then we can play against the other team's third lines because you guys got their top line. And it's like, oh, well, that makes it easier.
Yeah, and like I don't remember how like because I was mainly on the fourth line when I was playing with you back then, but back then you weren't playing with four lines like
Mm,
the whole game. Like you would.
like you do now, right?
Yeah, like back then you would get like let's say 5 or 6 minutes of ice time in a game as a fourth liner.
No, it's
But
true though. The game's changed that way too in the UK. Like after that year, I went to Cardiff, and we would play with three lines and an extra. We wouldn't even
yeah,
have
exactly.
four lines, and you just roll three lines. And I actually like that. I enjoyed playing three lines more than four lines when I was a player. But the game's changed now, eh? Like people, they don't put up as many points because they're not playing three lines; they're playing four lines.
Yeah, like we've been playing like here in Herning, we've been playing four lines for the whole year. Like there's not even like a situation where like coach will pull off a fourth line or a third line to put in the first or second. Like he just rolls four lines like constantly.
And your coach is Garth Murray.
Yeah,
He was the captain of Team Canada when I used to like when I was a kid. I don't know how old I was. He's like, I think he's a little younger than me or so, or around the same age. But he was Team Canada's like captain in the World Juniors.
yeah, I didn't even know.
That's true.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, must be a good coach if you guys already won a trophy this year.
Yeah, he won his trophies in Denmark already. Like he won I don't even know like three trophies in Aalborg as well, or three championships in Aalborg.
Well, and I agree with him with Roland, and it takes everybody to win. And if you play everybody come the third period, the other team has a hard time keeping up.
Yeah, I think that's what we've been like so far this year. Been really good at, and it's kind of funny that right now we have a lot of injuries and some guys have been sick, so we had to play like three lines for the last week or so, and we had a terrible schedule. We had like 4 games in 7 days or something, uh, and it's just a different game. Like playing three lines.
It, I don't know, like it's changed, right? The game's changed, speed's changed. I always found I was more into the game when there was three lines compared to
Yeah.
four. But I mean, maybe I didn't know if I slowed down in the third period, you know? So curious question. You grew up in Voyance. You played for them your whole pro career. 2 years ago, you left for Herning. Why?
Yeah. Well, as you said, I played there my whole life, and I played like I think 550 games for them or something. And I just got to a point where like the last season I was playing there, I just didn't have a lot of fun, and it wasn't anybody's fault or anything. It was just I
You
needed a
needed a
change.
change. Needed a
Yeah,
change.
it was just I needed to be excited about something again, and
Yeah.
I actually went to you remember Klaus, the CEO?
Yeah.
I went to his office.
Rasmussen.
Yeah, I
See,
went to
I do
his
have a good
office, and
memory.
he's a good guy. I went to his office and like already in the fall, like a couple months into the season, to talk to him about it, and he was really understanding. But he wanted to like negotiate something, so we had something in place if I decided to change my mind. So I actually had like a deal ready to sign when we came to January or something. But then the general manager of Herning called me, and I just knew that I
It
needed
was,
to try something out.
yeah, and I understand that. I found it. Well, it probably happened to me in Bietigheim. Was you get too comfortable, it gets too normal, and it's like
Yeah.
you don't have the same fire for like the new season when it's just the same thing every year.
No, it's just it's weird how you can like before starting the season I could like point out, "Look, we're gonna do this, do that, do like
Yeah,
for the whole year." So it wasn't like I just got to a point where I just wasn't excited enough about it. So as I said, it wasn't anybody's fault. Like it was just I needed something.
yeah. And now you're in Herning, and you got a daughter. What's her name?
Lily.
Lily. I can't believe you guys are all grown up now. It's like weird. I'm coaching a senior team here. And it's guys I played with like 5 years ago now. And I was the only guy on the team with a kid back then. And now they all have kids, and I'm coaching them. And I see them with their kids at the rink, and then I see you winning trophies with your daughter. And I'm like, man, I was like, me and Alfie were like the only people with kids on the team that year.
Yeah.
And now you see you winning trophies with your daughter, and you're like, oh my God, they're all grown up now.
Yeah, I'm kind of where you were back then,
Yeah, it's weird, man.
eh?
But it says you're only 29 years old, man. You're in your 14th year of playing pro.
Yeah,
You're only 29.
I started early.
That's that's not that old.
No, it's not. Like I hope to have like I don't know. I hope to have like at least like 6 or maybe 7 years left in me.
Well, you know what I appreciate about you is you have bigger balls than most of your Danish friends. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
Thomas Spelling will not talk to me in my shed. He's scared. He
Oh
can
yeah,
he can be good looking. He can shoot the puck well. He can become a Danish legend and win all these trophies, but he will not talk to me. So I have people in Denmark that will just send me pictures of him bending over playing hockey, and then I post pictures of his butt.
I'm sure if you're persistent enough, maybe he'll say yes one day.
I think I'm gonna keep posting pictures of his butt until he comes on.
Eh? But you got Overmark on the podcast though, eh?
Well, he's got balls, and he had balls playing
Yeah.
with him, right? Like when he came on, we were ranked #1 in Denmark in podcasts, and I'm like, that is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a beauty, man. That guy would do anything to win. That guy, like, um, he played hockey hard, and if he needed to block a shot with his face, he would. He would do anything to win.
Yeah, he would. He
Mm-hmm.
he's he actually lives like I don't know, like 400 meters down the road. Like
Really?
he's yeah, I actually spend some time with him once in a while. He's one of the guys that I've kept in contact like most with from back then.
That's weird. We won the championship that year, and then I guess it was the bad taste in my mouth. I didn't stay in contact with that many guys from that team, even though we won the championship. But one guy that does send me fun photos randomly every couple months is Daryl Andrews. And
Oh
oh
yeah.
my
Daryl.
God, man, when he sends you a photo, you know it's going to be a good one.
Yeah. He last time I saw Daryl was when I went to I went to, I don't remember what it's called. It was close to Calgary with the under 20 national team.
The
Me
Stampede.
and me and Søren Dow.
Oh yeah.
Remember Dow?
Oh yeah, I
We
remember
went.
Sword. Yeah.
Yeah, we went with the under 20 national team to Camrose.
Camrose, Alberta.
Uh, yeah,
Home
and
of Boots,
like
Matt Ponto. Sorry.
and apparently like Daryl, he reached out to Søren to see him. So he went to the rink one day for a talk, and he actually took Dow like around town for like sightseeing.
Really, eh? Daryl is a great dude, man. He's still a great dude, and he's a dad now too. You know, he's the oldest
Yeah.
dad. He's the oldest dad in the league. He got a late start. You were starting pro young. He was getting into the dad world late.
Yeah, big guy.
Big guy. Yeah. But it's fun when you reconnect with guys that you won with. And you know who else I would like to reconnect with was the guy they put me beside in the locker room, and he played his last game that day. We won the championship in game 7, and I had to sit there beside him after winning the championship, and he wouldn't take his equipment off for hours because he knew it was his last game. Was Alfie Michaud.
Yeah,
He wouldn't take his equipment off. He just sat there crying with his trophy.
yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember Alfie. He was like intense goalie, eh?
About as intense as they get, man. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. But good, like great guy. Like I remember he was one of those goalies where like in a practice or something, like he would be fucking like he would have the eyes on you, and then he would be like almost threatening sometimes. I'll fucking break your wrist. And
You're right. You're
then we
right.
would go off the ice, and then he would take his equipment off, and he would be, all right, see you, buddy.
Yeah. No, you're right though.
Yeah.
We had a pregame routine in the pregame skate in the mornings where I would take point shots and somebody would be tipping them in front of him, and
Yeah.
he would want so many from one side of the ice, that side of the ice, and then the middle of the ice, and it would be with the guy tipping and me wristing them in there. And if I didn't shoot them right, and if I didn't hit the net, he'd be screaming at me, and he'd be like,
Yeah.
"Shoot the fucking puck, Wally! What the fuck are you doing? Shoot the fucking puck!" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm just trying to help you. You think I want to do this? You think I give a shit? I'll get off the ice right now if you don't want me to shoot on you."
Yeah. Well, I think that's why he was such a good goalie. Like he was so intense that he would go 100% into every drill. Like
I he was as intense, and he's coaching the University of Maine now.
yeah, like I played with Cameron Brown, who you had him on the show as well,
Oh
right?
yeah, Cameron
Yeah,
Brown, great dude.
he knows Alfie as well. Like I remember when he came to Sønderjysk, I actually think they reached out to Alfie to ask him about Cam. Uh, so like
I'm
the
pretty
club
sure he
of
made.
Sønderjysk still
I'm
has
pretty
contact
sure
to him.
Cam married a Danish gal.
Well, I don't. I think they're not married yet, but they're about to be. Like they actually they still live here in Herning, so I see
Really?
him once in a while as well. Yeah, outside the ice.
Yeah, good dude. But Alfie, I found it interesting, right? I'm curious what he's like as a coach because I coach, and I sat beside him that year, and
Yeah,
he would have a notebook of the other team's power play, and
yeah, yeah,
he'd write down all this shit about where each guy's gonna stand and what they're gonna do. And I'm like, why do you have to write that down? Like, I know that. I'm like, he stands there, he stands there. I'm like, why do you got to write all this down? I'm like, we know what they do. But he
He
would
came
have it all written
prepared.
down. And him and Daryl had a great relationship because Daryl was his
Yeah,
PK guy and his D zone guy. And they knew exactly like what he was going to take away and what the goalie was going to take away so that the other team didn't have anything. And like they were on the same page, but I don't write a lot of things down because I just know what's happening. But Alfie was a big writer down guy.
yeah. He was, and I think that's the part of him. He was always 100% prepared. Like this,
He was. And
you were never in doubt. Like if we were playing a game, he was prepared.
when I could realize it was coming to an end when I wasn't getting contracts in Germany after 6 years. I think I was only like 29 years old. And then you go to Denmark, you win the championship, and you're sitting beside a guy whose career is over and he knows it's over and he's got bunch of kids, and you see them sitting there crying after winning the championship, knowing it's over, and you're like, man, that's not far away for me. And
No.
it really hits home, when you see that.
Yeah, like it's and sometimes you can't help but think about it. Like someday I'm not going to be playing hockey anymore, but like how it is.
It does come to an end.
It is short lived.
That's why you have
It's
to
not.
start a podcast so you can still be that guy.
Yeah.
Even if you got to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to talk to people.
Yeah. Yeah, you did a hell of a sacrifice right there.
Well, I'm curious what you're up to now, and it's weird. You come back from the game and you miss your friends, and you're like, well, what is he like now? Like he was just a kid in high school,
Yeah. Yeah, it was a different time. Like I didn't even I hadn't even met Sandy, my girlfriend back then. Like I don't even remember what I was doing outside the ice. I think it was at the rink like 90% of the time.
Right? And why wouldn't you be, right? It's quite the rink they have in Voyance, Denmark for the size of the town.
Yeah,
It's
like
never really
but
made sense to
it's
me
not
that they
it's
have
not
such
far
a
off
nice arena.
that the capacity of the rink is the same amount of people who lives in Boyens, right?
And they fill it. Like we would
Yeah,
be in the finals and it's full, and you're like, well, where did all these people come from?
yeah,
All there is to do is walk around with your kid and throw bread to ducks.
yeah. And what do you got to do? You got to go to the rink to watch hockey. That's all you have to do.
That actually, the year in Voyance was probably the first year I really got into cooking because I didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
I had a young kid, and I'm like, so what do I do
What
all
else is
day?
there to do?
Yeah, so I got into cooking.
Were you any good at that?
I've gotten better over the years, I review my performance just like in hockey, and I try to do better than the time before. I feel like I always loved food. I just didn't know how to love it. And now that like once you travel around a bit, you get to know more about food, and then you're into it.
Yeah. Like I think the way you should rate it is does your son want to eat it or not?
Well, that's true, but they're just kids. I like eating food from like Germany and stuff that like you can't get here. Which it was pretty neat. Guy from Germany that I just had on the podcast was talking about eating Weisswurst, if you know what that is, the white sausages. And
Oh yeah,
he sent me the sweet mustard. I'm like, well, we have Weisswurst here, but like I don't have the mustard, so like it doesn't taste the same. He sent me 3 things of the mustard, so I just had Weisswurst the last couple days, and it tasted
yeah.
just like I was in Bavaria.
Yeah. What about the food from Denmark? Remember any of that?
Well, I actually have something written down here. The hot
We
dog game in Denmark. That's what I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, yeah.
You guys have hot dogs that are like they're totally different. They're like they're in the bun, and you guys have the bun, and then you
Yeah,
just slip the dog into the middle of the bun.
they're kind of like they're horizontal instead of vertical, right?
Well, like it's like putting your wiener in a sock.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the French hot dog?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I've never seen anything like that where you get the bun and there's a
Yeah.
hole in it, and then you just jam the wiener in it.
Yeah. Well, that's because we have two kinds here. You have the traditional one, which kind of looks like yours, which is like horizontal with like pickles on it and stuff. And
Right,
then
and
you
then
have
you
the
can put
the
the
French
dried
hot
onions
dog.
on there too. Yeah.
Then you have the French hot dog, which is it's basically just a sausage and a bun and maybe some ketchup or something.
Yeah, but like you can't put much in there when you don't open
No,
up the bun. You got to just
no,
jam the wiener in there.
yeah.
You just get some sauce. Then
That's
you,
what
then
that's
you
what
just
all the
jam
kids
it
will
in
get. All the kids choose that one because it doesn't have the pickles and the onions on it.
there. But I would say for food in Denmark, that's what I remember was the hot dogs.
Yeah, you don't remember any of the Christmas food? We must have went to the Christmas party for the team that year.
Oh, I'm sure we did.
We gotten like You don't remember any of the like the Danish meatballs, frikadeller?
Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
think
Oh
so.
yeah, herring. We must have eaten
Herring,
herring.
like the
Remember the?
fish.
Yeah. That's one of the things I remember when in Sunnisk we had the Christmas party
Is
and
your gal gonna come over and meet me, or is she just gonna talk in the background?
kommer du over og siger hej eller hvad? Yeah.
I haven't met her yet. How are we gonna be
No.
a hockey family when I haven't met her?
Yeah, I didn't meet her until the year
Hi.
after.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning. I'm going to work now.
I haven't started yet.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
too
you're
early
fine.
yet. That's why we're doing this now. Nice meeting you.
You too.
Keep taking care of my Esky.
Yeah. She is. She is.
I know. I don't recall eating herring.
No, like I just remember like all the years
I
we would
remember the
have like all,
Christmas
all
party
these.
though. It was in that VIP room at the arena,
Yeah.
the backside.
Yeah. Like we would like remember Inge and Meg?
Yeah.
Yeah, they would usually take care of like a big buffet of all like traditional Danish foods and yeah, and leverpostej. Remember like the liver, like the liver pate?
I wouldn't have
You
done
probably
that.
wouldn't like that.
I'm
That's why
not
you
gonna
don't
do
remember
that.
any
It's
of that.
just like going to
You
Germany.
wouldn't
I'm
have
not gonna
touched
eat the
any of the
bloodwurst.
Danish traditional foods.
I'm not gonna eat the liver patty.
Exactly.
And I'm not gonna go to Germany and try the bloodwurst either. So
Exactly. That's why you don't remember it because you didn't try any of it.
you're right. I do recall the salads and
The salads.
after the meals, after the games,
Yeah.
they would
Yeah, we
like,
went to the handball place to eat every
well,
other
by
game,
the
right?
pool, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I recall they would like bring out a tray of eggs that they had baked, and I'm like, you just baked eggs, like a whole tray of eggs? I've never seen people cook eggs like that before.
Oh, it was spile. It was just fried eggs in a huge pan, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I've never seen that before.
Well, I think it was just easier for them. It would take forever for them to fry like 30 eggs.
No, I know, and it made sense. Once they all 30 were cooked at the same time, I'm like, oh, I've never seen that
Yeah.
before. And the other thing was you guys would put corn in when they'd have the salad buffet. There was always corn as an option, and I thought, huh, I never thought of putting corn in salads before, but now I get it.
Yeah. So you kind of remember like some of the things, from that year. A lot of it is blurry, I guess.
It is. It's been a long time, but one thing I do recall was that pool across the road from
Yeah.
the arena. And then I remember going there with guys that had grown up in Voyance, and I had gone down the slide with my son, and I thought, I was doing the slide the way you're supposed to do it. And then then I saw the Voyance guys go down the slide, and
With no pants on?
they had this technique of like just keeping their heels, and
Yeah.
they would go down the slide so fast, I couldn't believe
Yeah.
it. I
Well, usually you would slide your pants down just a tad, eh? So make your butt slippery, and
slippery.
then you would have your elbows in with your heels.
Right.
You're
And
going.
you guys could go down the slide so fast, I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. And I do recall there was a day we had like a pool day. I don't know why, because we were like adults, and I don't know why swimming's fun when you're an adult, really. But I was an Elmira Aqueduct, and I got in. I think I raced over Mark. I think we had a swimming race for the boys.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I won. I think it was
Oh,
the butterfly. I think we did the butterfly.
like Overmark probably would be really competitive in that, eh?
Well, he's a pretty competitive guy, and so am I.
Yeah. And
I
like
wasn't even
another
wearing
guy
a
would just
Speedo.
be, yeah, another guy who would just be there for fun would probably be Dow.
Um, Another thing I do recall from that season, though, because I still think it's kind of funny, it's Quirky and I had been on the same line the whole year, and we were like up there for top scorers in the league. And
Yeah.
then they switched us like after Christmas. We played together the whole year, and then they're like, okay, you guys are going to switch lines now. He tried to take the puck to the net in practice on me. The first practice we were split up, and I didn't want him to take the puck to the net, but he's like a little bulldog.
Yeah.
And I happened to end up tripping him, and he fell on his face and knocked out all his teeth. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah. He had to wear a cage, eh?
yeah. And that was like his line mate from the whole year when we were like top scorers of the league, and then they switch us. First practice, he's not on my line. I knock out all his teeth.
Well, then they shouldn't have split you up.
Right?
Who did you go with then? I don't even remember. Like,
Spelling and the other Wally.
oh yeah, Walters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Spelling and I had Walters would go to the net, and then Spelling and I would play hockey.
Yeah.
And it was a good line too.
Walters was a tough guy as well, eh? Like
That guy would block a shot.
Yeah, like I remember he won the championship, what, 2 years in a row in Herning, and then he went to Boyens and won it another 2 years in a row, maybe even 3 years. I don't even remember.
No, you're right. He was a winner.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
he won it 5 years in a row in Denmark, I think.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was the same with Overmark though.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And he helped me win in the shed too. I was first in Denmark.
Yeah. Yeah, he would get your name out there. Eh? He was always up for like chatting online.
I remember when I went there, and I'm like, I don't even know what Twitter is. And then I would go to the games, and everybody was talking about Overmark and Twitter, and he was like, well, people were into his Twitter, and he was saying things to get people fired up.
I remember like Overmark is still like to this day one of the guys that like some guys in the league won't like him because of all the shit he said on Twitter.
But when you're on his team, you love him.
Yeah, like I like him a lot. I spend a lot of time with him. Like he's a great guy.
Oh yeah. So when you're in Herning, did they throw Twix on the ice when Mac would win?
Yeah, they would throw a lot of Twix and ice. We would have this like huge like I don't even know what to call it in the locker room. With like there would be a special like cabinet for only Twix.
So you know how like that I started that, right?
Yeah, I heard.
I find it so fucking funny. He was in Cardiff where I played after Sundaruski. And I find it such a small hockey world is that we get the Twix fired up there from doing this, and then it becomes a thing, and then he switches to Herning, and I'm like, have him on. I'm like, so do you think we can get this going in Denmark? Like, do you think they'll buy in? And then like it was like just into the regular season, he was up for like the shutout record and fifth shutout in a row, and there were 1,004 Twix on the ice. And for me to see that from here, talking into my work computer on lunches, it was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
You still know how to like change the hockey world, eh?
I still know how to have fun, and I still know how to play hockey. Yes, I do.
But I remember the like Herning, like as a club, they knew how to market that. They started like they would sell Twix up in the like foyer of the rink.
They had a cardboard
they had a
cutout
huge
of Mac.
Cardboard of Mac,
and they sold Twix out of his butt. I thought it was so neat the way that all started, though, was he switched from Cardiff. I was chatting with his agent, and we got it going, and then all those Twix came on the ice, and Herning, that when I see the video of the Twix hitting the ice, Herning's win song is as high end as a win song can be in hockey. I don't know if you guys play, I don't know if you guys play that every win, but I love that song, and I don't know what it is. So if you can tell me what it is, I love that song.
I don't even know what it is. I got to find out what it's called.
It's a cool tune, man. Yeah. Like when all that Twix is hitting the ice, and I'm like, hey, But like for that to happen from talking to people, it was so neat. And I don't know, I just want the Cardiff Devils, which, you know, Sunderjuski didn't want me back. Whatever. I went to Cardiff and they liked me and they let me be myself. And I just want them to throw more than 1,004 Twix on the ice so then they can have the record, you know? But they won't do it. I don't know what's wrong. Apparently they're searching bags on the way into the arena and I'm taking people's Twixes from them, but I don't know how I'm supposed to win if they're doing that. And if they don't put a cardboard cutout in the lobby and sell Twix out of Mac's butt, I don't know how to beat them.
Herning just solved the puzzle. They just figured out if people want to throw Twix on the ice, let's just sell them ourselves.
And then you make money too,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Like then everybody wins, and then I get to feel special too, and I'm not even there.
Genius.
But Herning's got a new barn, eh?
Well, it's actually the same barn. It's just what do you call it? It's
Renovated.
Just, yeah, it's just renovated. Yeah.
Because
they actually made it like a tiny bit smaller. I think it's not smaller. It's just more seats than stands.
Say what now? So you're
They
saying it's the same size, but they found a way to
so
get more seats in there?
basically it's the same stands, but they just have seats now instead of stands. So
So
the rink is all modernized though. It's not the old. Remember how the lights were kind of yellow back then?
well, it was like dark in there.
Yeah, it's really dark and the lights were kind of yellow and remember the bench was really small. Like the away bench was like you couldn't even be there. You basically had like needed one guy almost to be in the stands.
I still remember. Well, they won the first 2 games of the finals. Then we won 3 straight, and then we had a game in Herning to win the championship, and everybody came, and then we didn't win.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it all works out the way it's supposed to. But then we went back home and won it. But I remember that game, and when you have a chance to win a trophy and you don't do it, it's tough.
Yeah. It was kind of the same thing in 15 we kind of I think we won 4-2 in games as well, I think. Must have been.
Yeah. You think I want to talk
4-1.
about the next year when they didn't want me back and won it again? I
hope
your gold helmets break. I hope your gold helmets.
The club.
No, I didn't. I haven't. No, I'm just kidding. I'm over it. I have a Team Denmark shirt, and I even hung my Sunderjuski jersey for this chat. You know, I have to choose which jerseys are up because I don't have room for all of them, and I had my favorite jerseys out, and there's like a pile of them here, and if I'm being honest, Sunderjuski was not out here. I had to go find that jersey. But I really like my gold helmet, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta stay safe.
Like that's probably like one of the more special things about winning Denmark, getting that golden helmet, eh?
Isn't it? I think it's one of the neatest. It's got to be one of the neatest hockey traditions in the world. That
I think it's Scandinavian. Like they do it in Sweden and Norway as well.
Really?
Yeah.
They get gold helmets there too.
Yeah.
I love my gold helmet. Yeah, it's very neat. You have it forever.
Like it's kind of funny. Like you're like the little medal you get. You don't even think about that. All you think about is the golden helmet, eh?
And then when you go out that night, and you know you had a young kid all season, and you never really got to go out all year. And then when you finally do get to go out, and you're like, so where do we go? Where are the places? And it's like, oh, I just have to find the gold helmets. Wherever the gold helmets are, that's where the boys are.
Yeah.
Just ask around, people will know. I got all tangled up that night though when we won. I do recall being in what's that town right by Hatterslav?
Right by Hatterslav, yeah.
I believe I was there, got lost from most of the team in the gold helmets, but I ended up with Casper Stockfish.
Yeah.
And I remember us being in a pickle and not knowing how to get home, and he knew people, and somehow we got home. But I remember it was late, and we didn't know how to get back. And I think he used his resources to get us back.
Yeah. Well, he must have had some kind of resources because his dad was the general manager. Eh?
Yeah, his dad was a beauty, and um, like they don't want you back. You have your hurt feelings, but when I was there, they treated me great, and everything was great until they didn't want me back.
Did
But
they ever
I
tell you why
remember
they didn't
Casper,
want?
that guy. He was playing for the kids team. Would have been with you, and I
Yeah.
remember being at the rink, and he got hammered in a game and got heavily concussed for like I don't know how many times it was, and his dad was so worried about him, and I was like, man, that's got to be so hard to see your kid be like that and be concussed, because now you're coaching kids and you're like, I would hate to see any of the kids I coach get
Yeah.
concussed like he did. But doesn't he have something to do with the team still?
Well, he's actually an assistant coach for Anders
Is he?
now. Yeah, he's 29 as well. He's young, but now he's taken over when with Anders on sick leave. So he's the head coach right now.
Actually?
Yeah, you should probably try and call him and have him on the podcast as well.
Then he could tell me how we got home that night.
Yeah.
I find it so funny, those gold helmets, man. Like when we were going to meet the mayor and we all were on a team bus having beers, and it was the day after winning, and everybody was feeling like we won.
Yeah.
And then you have to go meet the mayor with your gold helmet on.
And you would party for a full week. Like you would seriously go out every night for a week.
Well, if you have
Uh,
a gold helmet, why wouldn't you?
yeah, exactly. But like, yeah, I just remember, I remember, Dow. He lived with his parents still. But my dad, he lived in Hattie at that time, so he just stayed at my place for a week, and all we did was wake up in the morning and go to Overmark's place or something.
Well, the season's over and you won.
Yeah. Wake up at 11, just go over to his place
Uh,
again.
I recall, well, Casper, Stockfish got me home that night, whatever time it was. And well, people were waking up. My son was waking up, and I just threw my helmet on. And I was like, well, I can take the dog and Colby for a walk. And I put my helmet on and got the stroller out and took a cruise around town with my gold helmet on at like 7 a.m.
Yeah, funny thing in a bigger town that like people would have been looking at you like, what is that guy doing? But in Boyens, guys would have just have been like, oh, look, that's Wally. He's
Yeah,
just won the championship.
well, he's got his gold helmet. At least he's being
Yeah,
safe walking
he's
around.
walking his kid. He's still drunk.
Just gonna go feed the ducks.
He's not even sober yet.
Definitely wasn't. But yeah, we did meet the mayor the next day, and it is neat meeting the mayor. It's neat coaching these kids around this town. Is last season, 2024, we won all Ontario, and it was as neat as it gets coaching your son and a bunch of guys and winning it all. And then you got to meet the mayor, and then he played baseball, and then they won all Ontario again and met the mayor again. So my son met the mayor twice in 1 year.
Yeah,
Winning is fun.
just showing up at the mayor's office all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it was neat. I got to meet a German mayor, I got to meet a Danish mayor, and now
Yeah,
I got to meet the Concarden mayor.
yeah. You met a lot of mayors in your life.
I'm trying to. I do enjoy it, but it's
I
way
guess that's what you're trying to teach the kids. Eh? Just teach them to win.
well, it's more fun.
Yeah, it's
I didn't
but it's
feel
the
as
same
safe
thing.
though in Concarden because I didn't have a gold helmet on. So if I fell,
you, you didn't go out because you might have hurt your head.
well, I mean that is it. It really is though. Those gold helmets are. It's way cooler than like I have the medals. I have a
Yeah,
bunch of medals, but they're not as cool as a gold helmet.
No, like they don't like they're not such a big difference from any other medals you would have won in your life. Like what's different is the golden helmet, right? Like
It
it's
is. And
like you
like,
don't get
man,
that everywhere.
no, you don't. And then when Colby was young and we could play mini hockey for the gold helmet, it's like, well, that's cool. You know?
Yeah.
And then whoever wins gets to wear the gold helmet. Or like if he needs a bicycle helmet around the neighborhood, it's like, well, put on the gold helmet, you'll be fine.
But it's kind of the same thing as like because you wear the golden helmet for a week and you know the helmet gets to see everything you see, and it's kind of the same thing as when you graduate from like high school in Denmark. You get like this hat you get to wear, and you wear it everywhere, and you sign things in it, you cut it, you drink from it, whatever. So it's kind of the same thing with the helmet. It has a story itself. Like
It
it's
does. I remember the helmets, those young punks. It would have been Dow, and well, you weren't there, I guess, but
it was
they
Henrik
they
Nielsen maybe.
yeah, they started signing the helmets, and it's
Yeah.
like, I don't want my helmet signed by you guys. If it's not everybody signing it, I don't want my helmet signed. And then they were trying to tell me my helmet was like signed by Dow, and I was like, no, it's not. I'm like, give me a different helmet that's not signed.
Yeah. But I remember that year and the year after, Dow would lose his helmet like 3 times during the week.
It can be a long week.
Yeah, but the some way it always found its way back to him. Like it's like next day somebody would call him, "Hey, we have your helmet. It was in the bar."
You got to keep your chin strap on.
Yeah.
Another guy, one of your poster pics of you with the trophy is Daniel Koenig Hansen. And I was just playing with Sunder Yuski with my son the other day on NHL. And he is still number 18, which is my number and why I couldn't wear it when I came there.
Yeah.
So he's still on the squad, eh? You guys grew up
Yeah.
together?
Yeah, we grew up together. We played again together since we were like 4 years old or something.
I always found playing in Europe, uh, the teams I won with, the teams I did best with, depth wins championships. But it's having guys from the hometown that can actually play hockey.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that's what like a lot of those years when Sunniuska won a lot of championships, that like a lot of that came from like a core of local guys as well, right?
It was. And when I went to Landshut and we did well, it was core guys from Landshut. And then we went to Bietigheim. We had Rene Schofs and Dirk Robel and a bunch of Bietigheim guys that could play. And having the, what do they call it? The natives, not the imports. I find the imports can cancel themselves out. Like, yeah, you can have a great year. When it comes down to winning games, it's about who you have from that country.
Yeah, and it's the same today because you have a limit to how many imports you can sign, and there's also a limited amount of like Danish players. Like so you want to get the best Danish players around. Like
That's how you win.
it's and actually like there's a lot of like right now Rødovre this year are not making the playoffs, so they're like trying to probably sell out a lot like some of the guys for to save money for the rest of the year. So there's a lot of fighting to get some of those players for teams.
Well, that was the story I was told when I wasn't asked back was we're saving money for Danish players, not imports. And I was like, whatever.
Yeah,
But
like
like
it's
when you have a
so,
kid that's like 2 years old and just had the year I had, and then you're told you're not asked back, and then you go out to the parking lot and you're like, so what was I supposed to do this year? Like, what was I actually supposed to do to be asked back? I'm curious.
but
And I was upset.
but was that what they told you, that like they wanted to save money for the year after, or?
Yeah, but then I had Dan Seaman on to actually find out what actually went on, and they basically chose Patrick Aslan over me.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and what are you gonna do? You know?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
He
He's a nice guy.
he's a nice guy. He even took your number, eh?
Yeah, he would have wore 19 too. Yeah, punk.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, he
But
came
I
back with a
also
different.
got him a job in Cardiff after too, so it all works out in the wash. As once he was done after that year, when they picked him over me,
Yeah,
it's like whatever. Well, he's still my friend. And then when he needed somewhere to go after, they at Cardiff asked me about him. I'm like, he is a fantastic guy, fantastic teammate. He's what you need, and he played there for a couple of years and did really well. And I don't know. I'm always gonna have my buddies' backs, you know.
and he was in Germany for years after that, right?
I think he might still be there.
Yeah, I'm
I
actually
don't.
not sure, but I
He
think he
was
played down
playing
there for
like last
years.
season or something, like the third league.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was still giving her. I don't know. Fantastic photographer. I remember he was the one that took pictures of Colby when he was like 2 years old, and met us at like a playground, took a whole bunch of photos with
yeah.
Colby, and he always held his hockey stick that the other Wally gave him, and that was for his birthday, and he still has that blue hockey stick still now,
Yeah.
I think. Anyways, brings back memories talking to you donkeys, eh?
Just try getting more of us on the pod.
I know. You know, Danish guys are pretty timid. So
Yeah.
one guy I want to talk about that just retired, Man Rocket, Daniel Galbraith.
Yeah.
He won't come on. He says, I like listening to your podcast, but I'm that's not for me. And I'm like, come on.
He,
Why are all you Danish guys so timid? At least you got balls in Overmark, hey?
I don't even know. Like I know Daniel might be. He even
Is he too
when
good
we played with
looking?
him,
Is he too good looking for the pod?
that's why they call him Snolla, right?
Snolla, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I know it means like you're
It
hot,
was
but
it was like the local word for candy.
candy. He's
Yeah,
man
because
candy.
Lundy and Frankie said that he was eye candy for girls, right?
That makes sense. It's a good nickname.
But you should get him on, like
Well,
just
why is he so
just
scared?
persuade him.
I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either, because like your guy's English is good enough, and like spelling telling me his English isn't good, and I'm like, you're actually just being starts with a P, but I shouldn't say it because I think some of my under 13 boys might be listening, and I shouldn't say that. Okay, here's a serious question because I'm an aspiring coach. What's your favorite drill in practice?
My favorite drill in practice?
Yeah.
I like in general I like competitive drills.
Me too.
I'm like a physical guy, so I like, you know,
The small area games.
yeah, I like small area games where I can try and protect the puck and that's probably what I like the most. I don't like just skating around doing like, skill stuff. I like getting in the corners and trying to dig out
I
the puck.
I I agree with you. I was a little guy, but that's what I like too. The flow drills are for the birds.
Yeah.
But one thing I've noticed coaching kids is the kids that are like big from the start maybe don't have to learn how to protect the puck the same way, don't have to learn how to use their bodies as much because they're big from the start. I'm guessing you were big from the start. So I'm curious how like you learned how to like use your body and protect the puck that way, because I find the little guys that then become bigger guys that know how to protect the puck are more ahead of the game than the guy that was big the whole time.
Well, I think that when I was younger, I was always the biggest and the heaviest guy, but I probably wasn't the fastest skater. So that was like kind of a thing I had to learn to be able to like have the puck. Like I needed to protect it because I like a lot of the smaller guys would be way faster than me, but I would be stronger and could protect the puck.
Right. So you had to.
I had to, and actually, I remember like when I came up as a 15-year-old, like Mario Simeone would be pissed at me and calling me lazy, and I was like, I'm not lazy. Like I remember being mad at him for calling me lazy because I knew I wasn't lazy. I was just used to like I didn't have to skate fast to be able to like have the puck.
Yeah.
But then of course when you get older, like it's not as easy as it was back then, right?
That's true though. Everybody gets bigger and faster, and then you got to actually get in there and go get it to be able to protect it. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think like puck protection has always been like one of the bigger parts of my game. So like things I've been working on has mainly been like skating wise.
Is it so when you would have been coming up as a kid, I found the same for me. It's like I was always the little scorer guy, but I didn't really understand all the different roles in hockey, and like each guy has to do something different to help the team win. When you would have been a 17-year-old with me, would you have like understood like what you needed to do to help? Because I pictured when I saw the 17 goals in one season, I'm like, well, I bet you he's the net front guy in the power play. I bet you he's the big body in front of the net and mucking it up. And I didn't understand all the different roles, but like you need that guy to stand in front of the net. You need that guy to want to stand in front of the net. It's like when I'm running a power play and I roll up, and it's like if nobody's standing in front of the goalie, there's no reason to shoot it. But somebody has to be there. And then once somebody's actually in front of the goalie, you're like, oh, so I could just wrist it from here and it might go in, you know?
Yeah. Like I actually, when I was like growing up, I was always like a what do you call it, like a half wall guy, because
Right. Because
that's
well, that
usually.
you're probably the best player your age, and
But that's
you
what I mean. That's usually what the coach do with you when you're like scoring, like the one scoring goals. But
yeah,
then when I came up to like the pro team and all that, like that it just wasn't possible. Like you had so many skilled guys, so I
you
needed
weren't
to
taking my
figure.
half wall, Esky.
Exactly. I'm not taking, especially because you're a righty. But you needed to figure out another way of
Helping.
helping the team. So I figured like I'm a big guy, and I wasn't particularly scared of getting in front of the net. And then I had right when Mario Simeone came back in 18-19 or something, he like trusted in me and like showed some trust in me and showed like put me in front of the net, and then I did well. And that's just been my like kind of my strength like ever since, like being in front
Right.
of the net, not being scared.
And no, and knowing what you bring. Like I find players that understand what I remember going to the AHL out of college, and I got there, and a guy said to me, he's like, so what do you do? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, like what do you do? And I was like, I'm not sure what you mean. I go out and play hockey, but like each guy brings something different. And when you're building a pro team, you're like, so I need a net front guy. I need a half wall guy. And like each guy does something different. And I could totally see you being the net front guy, you know?
Like
You got the balls to come on the podcast and you're a big body, you know?
But I think it's when you're talking about roles and all that, I think it's one of those things that's hard when you come up as a like junior hockey player and you're used to scoring a lot of goals, and suddenly you can't be playing the same way. You gotta like be disciplined and play with the system, and you can't expect to come up being like Spelling. Like everyone can't do what Spelling does, like come in and score
No.
goals as a 17-year-old, right? So
But
like,
it's a fantastic shirt I have.
yeah,
I still
exactly.
have it this many years later and I still wear it all the time, you know?
Yeah. No, but I figured out a way to like I was not afraid to take a role on the team and be like I think one of my big strengths is PK, and
Right?
I'm
Long stick, big body.
yeah, in a lot of ways I'm like I'd take a lot of pride in playing on the PK, because like if you have a
Right.
good PK, there's a pretty good chance you're gonna win.
I understand. I totally get it. I felt more invested in teams when they would use me on the PK. And I like when the coach trusted me to be on the PK and wanted me on the PK and was like, yeah, you're doing power play and penalty kill. I'm like, so you want me out there blocking shots? I can do that for you. But when they didn't want you out there and you're like, no, you're just the power play guy. I'm like, really? I'm like, that's all I do? I'm like, okay. Yeah. It's nice when coaches trust in you, eh? But that Mario Simeone, like, he seems like a hockey dude. And like the way he helped me when I was done, and then when you're saying when you joined the team, like he was watching the games, he was into it even when he wasn't coaching. And that's a hockey guy, you know?
Or he is a hockey guy. Yeah, like definitely a hockey guy. Like
And he would have been
he was the
watching you
coach in
coming
Morning for
up and
years.
know how to use you.
Well, he you know, back then, like Sønderjyske was always like when I came up in 11, 12, they were like competing for the championship. So like taking younger guys up on the team wasn't like they weren't trying to develop you. They were trying to like
Win.
win the championship. So like that was probably also one of the things I had to get used to, that if I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna have to be playing in a certain way, like for us to to win. Like I
Yeah.
can't be going out there and thinking I'll be a skill guy who can score goals or whatever. I gotta, you know, take my defensive role.
Yeah. I actually think it's on YouTube. You scoring your first goal that season. I think at one point I checked out some highlights when I was trying to convince Spelling into the shed. I was watching some highlights and your first goal was on there. And but that's how you win, is the young guys have to buy in to what's going on. There was a year I was in Germany. We had a whole bunch of young guys, and it wasn't a good mix because they had a couple young guys that all thought they should be playing more. They should thought they should be doing this. They should thought they should be doing that. And then they all start chitter chattering. And it's like, so well, we can't win when you guys all think you're supposed to be doing this or that. When the guys buy in and they're like, so the coach asked me to do this, so I'm going to go out and do that. And that's how we won that year, was all the young guys were like, so I'm playing this role tonight, I'm doing this tonight. I'm like, okay, like, let's go play.
Exactly. Like you can't have a full team of top scorers.
No, you can't. No. And it's nice when people understand their roles and they're like, okay, so I might get 3 shifts tonight, but all 3 of those shifts I'm going to be ready to play.
Exactly. Like and you know, I of course when I was that age, when I was playing with you as 17-year-old, I wanted to play more, but like the only way to do that was to prove myself in practice and games. Like there was like no way around it. I had to listen to the coach and do whatever he told me to, and if I didn't do that, I wasn't going to play.
It's true.
So
And it
there's
doesn't
only
really
one way
change,
around it.
does it? Right? It's like even what you're doing now. It's like when the coach says, okay, so like jump, you're like, okay, so where do you want me to jump? How high?
Well,
Right?
of course, like I'm like, and that's what I mean with like I'm always gonna buy into whatever I'm told to do. But like today, like I'm in a place where I'm 29 years old, and I kind of like when I'm signing on a team, like I know what I'm supposed to do, and I know what I can bring. And then if you know the coach wants me to bring something different, then we'll have a talk about that. But usually, I know what my role is gonna be.
Right. And so you were number 62 when I played with you. Why was that?
Yeah, that was actually because I was on a junior contract when I was playing with you, and all junior contracts were assigned numbers in the 60s.
Seriously?
Yeah, so we didn't have a choice. We would just get a number in the 60s, and I just like by coincidence got number 62.
That doesn't make sense.
No, then yeah. So I had that for two years, and then I took your number, eh?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. And you're still winning trophies. So that one where you got whatever trophy, it's a big cup that you could drink a lot out of.
Yeah,
I like trophies that you could drink out of. I think that's
yeah.
part of hockey, but just thinking out loud. But that's a trophy you can drink out of. Were those cigarettes in your mouth?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was. We were. That was when, and getting back to that, we were talking about. Remember, we were talking about the format of the pokal.
Yeah, oh, that's the
Yeah, yeah.
pokal
So
one.
that
That's the one
that
we didn't win.
changed. That changed to like a Final Four format. So nowadays, if you're in top 4 in the standings after 16 games of the season, you're qualified for the final 4, and then you play like a semifinal and a final game.
All in one
Uh,
weekend.
yeah, in one weekend. So that's how it is. But that was when we won it. When I won it the last time with Sønderjyske was in 2020 in Aalborg, and it was actually under like Corona restrictions, so there was no fans or anything. So we came out to the locker room, and everyone, just started lighting up cigarettes, and suddenly some guy runs in, hey, and like to stop us because we were about to set off the alarm for the whole rink.
For smoking cigarettes in the room after winning. That's not something I would do. I think they're disgusting. I've tried smoking a cigarette. I think they're gross.
You would have gotten some cigars after the championship in 14, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, I didn't like those either. So no, I just drank beers.
Yeah.
So would that have been winning with Cam Brown then?
Yeah, that was winning with Cam Brown 2020.
Yeah. It's interesting watching all these guys, right? You chat with them and like I didn't even know him. And then you kind of like follow along his career and like what's going on. Like Sunderjyski liked him, right? They kept bringing him back.
Yeah, like he was I think
they didn't like me much.
Well, I think he went to Sweden after, and then after a short stay he went to Esbjerg, and then we picked him up in Herning last year. And then he signed late in Sønderjyske again this year.
He's there again?
Yeah, he's in Sønderjyske again.
Really? I'm still trying to the Fuzz he's on stress leave and isn't coaching?
Yeah, he isn't coaching for now. He's
how long
to be honest, I don't like I'm not playing there, so I don't really know what's going on. But
no, I hear you.
But like
does
the
Stefan Frank still play?
No, he retired 2 years ago.
And Mads Lund's done too. He's been done for a while.
Yeah, he's done. He retired like 4 or 5 years ago.
He was a good player, man. Like Frankie got a lot of attention that year, so did Spelling, but Mads Lund, when you're building a team and you want a third line center, and he's a hometown boy, he was big, he was strong, he could play against anybody, and it's like, well, that's how you win, guys like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's and like he's besides that, he's also a great guy. Like he's
right.
I still talk to him once in a while. He's like, but he was like he was in Voyens for almost all the years I was there, and he was really good at also taking in younger guys and teaching younger guys how to behave around a pro team.
I tried to do that too, but in my own way.
Yeah, in your own way, but you're also a really funny guy.
I don't know about that. I was trying to be serious that year at a young kid.
I was trying to remember, like, because we had a nickname for you and Quirky that year, didn't we?
I don't know.
Didn't we call you Steen and Baune?
Oh, I think you might be right. What did that mean?
I don't remember why we did that, but I'm pretty sure we called you Steen and Baune.
I do recall having some kind of nickname, and was it something to do with being short?
Yeah, I think it was some kind of that, like something about that.
Because Quirky was short and I was short, but man, Quirky could play hockey.
You should definitely get Frankie on to try and explain that.
I should get Frankie on. The one thing that the Danish thing I remember, that I don't know why this is something I remember, because you win the gold helmets and all that, but the things that stick out to me that year, there's a few things, but you guys throw cinnamon on each other if you're not married by a certain year, and it's like, why are you guys forcing each other to get married?
Well, I actually don't know why it's a tradition, but it's a tradition that you throw cinnamon at a guy who's not married by the age of 25. And then,
I remember doing that to somebody. And
yeah,
everybody
it would have probably
been
back then.
Frankie, maybe?
Yeah, it probably would have been Frankie, maybe. Yeah, it would have been
Somebody
Frankie.
got covered in cinnamon in the shower, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and then like if you're not married by 30, it's pepper.
Right.
Yeah.
So like you guys are forcing each other to get married, or you're gonna throw things at them.
I think guys are actually pretty excited about getting cinnamon and pepper, so they're not rushing into marriage to get out of it.
Okay. Yeah, well, like so that's like a thing, right? Like so
Yeah.
we were doing it on a hockey team, but like if you're not on a hockey team, who's
Well,
throwing cinnamon and pepper on you?
I actually think it's mainly a thing from like the area. Then like if, I'm pretty sure that Fuzzy once told me that they don't really do it in Copenhagen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. It's weird when you travel around, you get to know things, you know?
Yeah.
I still remember that day when we were throwing cinnamon on a guy in the shower. I'm like, what is happening? Why
it,
are we doing this? Because
it
he's not married?
it must have been Frankie. I'm pretty sure it's Frankie.
It
Like
was
he's a 18 born 89 something. Like it must have been him. Yeah, it's him.
what are you? What year are
I'm
you?
born 96.
96, and I was in 83, and we still get along, eh?
Yeah, that's hockey.
That
That's
is
hockey.
hockey. That is hockey. Okay. Well, did you know Daniel Koenig Hansen is still on the video game, and Sunuyuski is?
I did well, but I would assume they are because they played the Champions Hockey League this year, right? So
I know, I know. I just played with him the other day, and I was telling my son, like, that's Koenig. Like, he was my teammate. And he's like, I was your teammate? I'm like, yeah, like 37 years ago.
he actually just reached a new milestone the other day when we were playing them down in Moyens. He played his 650th game for the team.
That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games.
Yeah. I heard you just beat them.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? Winning is fun, eh?
Winning is fun.
Yeah. You guys have some guy though that has a lot of points this year, and I remember Mac telling me about him. He's like, well, he's the best player in the league. What's his name again? Hansen or Bo?
Matthias Bau Hansen.
There it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's good, eh?
he is really, really skilled. He's like I think he's
Isn't he a
like
big
two
bitch?
meter like he's 2 meters tall and he's like really heavy as well. He's but really skilled. Like he's
So
got skills.
did he take your net front on the power play?
No, he's actually a half wall guy. He's got a
Oh,
like
he's a big bitch that takes the half wall.
he's probably got one of the best shots in the league. So he's a
Right.
half wall guy.
Yeah, he's got a lot of points. It looked like on the research team got hot there.
Yeah, but he's one of those guys that'll like put up big points every year in this league.
Right, because he's good at hockey.
He's just good at hockey. He would like once in a while in practice he'll do something where you're like just shocked that he keeps doing it.
Yeah, I understand. I hear you. Yeah, when you get out and practice with some guys and you're like, what did you just do?
Yeah.
So random question. When you were Team Denmark under 16, you were the top scorer for Team Denmark, eh?
Yeah.
That was on a team with like Nikolai Ehlers or whatever the guy is in the NHL. I don't know.
Steelers.
There you are. I don't watch the NHL that much or at all, but you were the top scorer on that team, eh?
Yeah, I could score goals back then. No, I was actually like playing. I remember the first under 16 national team game I was playing was against Sweden, and I was playing on a line with Nick Ehlers, and we lost 15-0 to Sweden, and they outscored us like outshot us 95-5 in shots.
That's not good.
I actually think I had 2 shots that game. One was a wrister from the blue line, and one was a dump in from the red.
Yeah, that doesn't
But
sound like that
was
much a lot of fun.
we were playing a Swedish team with Rasmus Andersson from Calgary, William Nylander,
Yeah.
Toronto. Like they had a lot of great hockey players back then.
Yeah, and it's tough when you get up against guys like that.
It's especially at that age, under 16s. Like some guys are just so far ahead of you. Like it was insane.
Yeah, but it's pretty neat. You were the top scorer for Team Denmark,
Yeah,
right?
it was a fun year. Like yeah, it was a fun year. It and that's probably where it kind of changed after that. Because when I got a little older, a lot of the guys were evolving into goal scorers, and I was probably moving more the other way as a kind of a role player.
Right. And well, you got to know what you bring. And I mean, everybody, I find it neat that way your career's gone and then you see what you've done and you're like, so you got to play for the men's Team Denmark in 2021-22, and that was after your big year of scoring 17 goals. You got to play for Team Denmark just like Thomas Spelling and Frankie got to back in the day when I played with them. You got to play for Team Denmark, the men's team. That must have been special, eh?
That was really special. Like it kind of it started actually the year before that when there was Corona. So basically, the men's team were like they were not able to play any exhibition games against other nations. So they would bring in like a secondary like under 25 national team to play against. And the week after that, I was being told that next week I would be with the actual national team. So the year after that, I played my first game, and it was really special. Like the first game was actually in Vojens against Latvia, and I scored my first goal that game
In Voyance?
in Vojens.
In your hometown?
Yeah,
Huh. That's fun.
so that was really special. Yeah, like that was one of the probably one of the top moments of
Your
my memory. Yeah.
your hockey career. I couldn't imagine scoring a goal for my country. That would be really neat. I don't think Team Canada was calling me anytime, but you know,
Well, they have a few more players to choose from than Denmark has.
they have a couple more, but um the Danish story I got that well, it was my first taste to Denmark was played in Bietigheim with Casper Dine.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, so we played there and won the championship. Win it all in Germany. And he had to play for Team Denmark like the next day. And he left. Like literally, we win the championship. You go all season and you do it and you
yeah,
win it. And you all get to have your night. He left that night to drive wherever the hell he had to go
yeah.
to play for Team Denmark the next day and never even got to celebrate with us, never got to do anything with us. And I found it sad, but he wanted to go play for his country, and I understood that. And then I fly home and I'm watching TSN and it's Canada against Denmark, and I'm like, so that's my teammate playing Team Canada right now. And I'm like,
That's why he did it.
right? And it's like, well,
Yeah,
that is really cool.
yeah,
Yeah. And then I never saw him again until well, he played for Aalborg that year we played.
yeah.
And we had a good chit chat before the game, and then he became like their GM or something. And now I think he's like out of the game.
I actually don't remember what he did after, but he was an agent for a while, for at least like 4 or 5 years, and then
Really?
yeah, at a short time, I think he was a coach in Frederikshavn as well. I actually don't know what he's doing today because I'm pretty sure he's not an agent anymore. Um, but yeah, like
Great dude. In
yeah,
Germany they called him Danish Dynamite.
of course.
Yeah. They called me Kugelblitz. That meant round lightning.
What did they call you?
Kugelblitz.
And
That
what is
meant
that?
round lightning. That meant I was fat and fast.
Yeah, so that's a compliment and
Right. But then when you hurt your knee, you're no longer blitz, you're only cool. So what do you do?
but then you can go to Denmark and score a ton of goals, right?
Right. And then they don't want you back either. And then you're like, well, I hate you too. Yeah, I don't know. I got issues. So what is your best hockey memory ever?
Um, it's probably like winning those championships, right? Like
Well, it usually is.
yeah, it like championships is always what you remember the most. I actually like one of the like really good nights of hockey is also when we won the Continental Cup a couple years back on home ice in Boyens. That was a lot of fun as well.
You won the
Um,
Continental Cup on home ice.
yeah, in
So
Sønderjyske, yeah.
what we screwed up that year that I played there, you guys actually won it like the whole deal. We were having like the regional tournament and we
Yeah,
didn't even make it to the fucking final. Oh, sorry, I swore again. We didn't even make it to the finals. We got put out that weekend against like Kazakhstan, who was it? The Hungarian team, and then somebody else. Oh,
I think it was a
Norway.
Belarusian team that year.
Stavanger. It was
Oh,
Stavanger.
Stavanger, yeah.
But yeah, they beat us. I remember getting hammered that game, like
Yeah.
crushed. Yeah, like concussed. But anyways, yeah, that sucked when we hadn't won. But then when we did win it all at the end, that's what you remember in hockey, right? Is actually winning stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was like the same issue this year about winning the first trophy of the season was like that's just it creates memories that'll last forever, eh? Like and
It
some of
really,
them are a bit blurry, but you'll still have them.
well, they do get blurry, but having your kid on the ice after winning a trophy and getting that picture on the ice, you don't, that stuff's with you forever.
Exactly.
And then you can check YouTube like a decade later. There's still stuff out there,
Yeah.
you know? And like I can see stuff with me and Colby when he was tiny and winning a trophy. And I'm like, I didn't even know this was out there.
Yeah, he probably won't remember, eh? But
He doesn't.
just looking at those pictures from back then, just
Someday he might care.
yeah.
He sure doesn't now. I
Maybe
tried
someday
to
he'll bring his own kid on the ice for that, eh?
exactly. I tried to show him the video yesterday, and he was like, "Yeah, whatever." And I was like, "Okay, never mind." You know, but it meant a lot to me, and it's like whatever. It's like, well, you got to go chase your own dreams. I'm like, hey, I got to do that, but like, you go do your own thing. You know?
Yeah, I'm sure that memory means a lot more to you than it does to him because it's probably out of his mind. But someday he'll probably understand.
I think it's pretty neat that you're still winning stuff and playing the game, man. That I, it's 10 years I've been out of the game or so. And that there's guys I played with that are still running amok out there and still doing it is really cool. And that you'll come on and chat with me, even if I have to get up at 4:30 in the morning to do it. Um, I I I miss being the hockey guy. I miss being in the game. And I miss my friends. And it took guys like you, the young guys, to buy into what the role was and what was needed of them to win that year, because I was on teams where the young guys didn't buy in and they thought they needed more ice time, they thought they needed this, they thought they needed that, and it's like, well, then we're not going to win because you guys are all complaining and it's not the way it's supposed to be. And that year in Voyance, everybody was in it together and everybody just wanted to win, you know?
Exactly, and I think that's probably those years are probably what taught me the most because like what skill do you want to learn to like more than to win? Like that's probably the best skill you can learn. Eh?
It is. And once you know what it's like to win, doesn't it make it way harder to lose?
Exactly. Like yeah. Like last year we like, as you know, like I moved away from Boyens and moved to Herning, and they beat us in the semis last year, and they went on to win the championship and the trophy, like the pokal trophy. Uh, and you know, I every year I go to this festival back in Hattie. And I was like, fuck, I don't want to go to that fucking festival where everybody's going to ask me, oh, so how was it to move away from Boyens? And then they win the championship and beat you in the semis. Uh, but you know, the weird thing was that it wasn't even like, I was pissed because we lost. I wasn't pissed because they won. Like I was so frustrated that we got, you know, beaten the semis, not because it was against Sønderjyske.
Right. And it is weird when you've been on a team for so long to play them. It's like I remember playing in Landshut and loving it, like loving playing for
Yeah.
Landshut, and that I felt like a Landshut guy. And then when you play them the next year with a different team, you're like, so they're all still my friends. I just play on a
Yeah.
different team.
Yeah.
And it's like doing the podcast. It's like, so like we all play on different teams. We're all different hockey guys. It's like, but we're all still friends.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll still, like, you know, it's still really weird for me to play against Sønderjyske. Of course it is after 12 seasons, but after the game I still chat up with my former teammates, and you know, I still consider them some of my best friends, right?
Well, and exactly. And that's hockey. You just go out there and muck it up and do the best you can, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, thanks for making the time for me. I know there's some Danish folks that have been itching for me to talk to you, just so you know. Did you know that? You have
I didn't
fans.
know.
You have
I didn't
fans.
know.
Yeah, you have fans.
That's always nice to hear.
It is nice to hear, right? Well, I guess I have to work all day. Then I have under 13 practice, under 11 game, and then the first game of playoffs for the Ripley Wolves.
You're a
So,
busy guy.
well, you got to try and stay busy, right?
You gotta see if you can sneak in a nap one, like at one point, eh?
I think I might need one. A little, at least a drooler, right? Like a 10-minute, like give me 10
Yeah.
minutes, let me bounce back here.
Like some of the ones where you just close your eyes 10 minutes before arriving at the rink for an away game, eh? Like
Right. And then you're ready to go. It's like, okay,
yeah.
here we go. Let's play. But it is weird what hockey can teach you. And it's like, so I can be tireder than anybody, but I could still go out and play. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And you would know as a young dad now.
Yeah, like, but well, I'm lucky. Like my kid sleeps all night and she sleeps until like 7:30 at least in the morning. So
Really?
I don't get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning like other dads do,
Or
but she
4:30.
keeps me up during the day, I'll tell you that.
Well, it's so fun. And you know what? They grow up way too fast. So
They really do.
you should enjoy it. And it was, for me, it was really neat seeing a picture of one of my Danish puppies with a standing on the ice with their child and a trophy, because I remember that day having Colby on the ice, and it's a day I'll never forget. And I'm sure it was the same for you.
It definitely was, and everything from here and until the end of April is about, you know, getting the next trophy. That's definitely the next goal.
Well, where is it? Gold helmets are fun, right?
Yeah, exactly. The winning week is fun.
Right. And it sounds like you got the team and you got the players and you got the coach, so you may as well just go out and do that, eh?
Well, that's definitely the goal. Like I think we have a team that can do it this year, and but again, like playoffs is just a different kind of animal. We gotta, you know, we gotta stay on it every practice and every game from now, because you want to bring in some momentum for the playoffs. Eh?
No kidding. My under 13 boys have one game left on Saturday, and then it's playoff time. And then the senior team I'm coaching, playoffs start tonight. So she's pretty well go time around here too, right? And we may as well all go out and win and have fun and see what happens to us after.
Exactly. See if you can remember it after.
I might have to put on the gold helmet and the chin strap just to get through it.
Yeah, you need to strap it so you don't lose it.
And this has been another episode of Two L's and Hockey Tales with Esky and Wally.